What's going on, everybody? Oh man, another day, another week, another week.
Yep,
I hope you all
that's right.
enjoyed last week. It
Mhm.
seems like a lot of people had a good time from what I was looking at. At least I mean I know I did. So just had to
I
approve
did.
this person over here. You
Oh
know.
gosh, Potter Puff football and all that good stuff.
But
But yeah,
you set the precedent for it to be Potter Puff football. Just remember that. Complaining
but
about my bones. I signed up for a sport that pays me well a lot of good money. My bones.
hey, hey, at least it's entertaining. Hey, it's real. It's
Mm-hmm.
real. But happy Sunday to you as well,
Yeah, happy Sunday.
everyone.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, like I said, I thought you fell asleep, but
Nah, nah,
that's neither here nor there. But we got a
meditation. I call it meditation.
oh meditation. I'm sure.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, but we got a interesting
Very
one.
interesting.
Yeah, a very interesting one where I, we'll try our best to navigate through these waters on this one because
Um,
I mean me personally it's just something I'm just like either you're in it or you're not, so there's no in between. Like if you're with somebody you're not gonna be being promiscuous and everything like that, so we're talking about infidelity.
well, that's back in the day. Now today's time, that's a little different.
Mm. Now some of y'all still do it. Don't even
No, no,
don't even.
no.
Some of y'all still do it. You get established with your money and be like, oh, let me go and do this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm.
Well, certain arenas, that comes with the territory, but
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I'm not in that arena.
Yeah, that's but I'm saying don't make it sound like it's a our generation thing. Nah, no, 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 player.
Oh, it's more open now. You know, talking about infidelity, yeah, it's open in more open in your generation than it was in ours.
Well, everybody's trying to break the whole labels and everything. So
Right. That's right.
that spills over into a lot of different aspects of life when you're trying not to be labeled as anything. Uh,
Yeah. But you know, what's the basis of that? You know, infidelity is it because of lack of love or
I
what
think
do you
it.
think?
I personally think it's people just get tired of each other. Like just, I mean that's just they just get tired of each other. Like, oh, the honeymoon phase is over, and then they know nothing about the person they're with or anything like that, and they're like, well, I don't want to be here anymore. So let me just try to find a way to get out, or go find a new car or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's definitely a reason. It could be that, among other reasons. You know, you can, um, no, love. I don't know how to say this. When you're in high school, you're in love. I think that's a genuine feeling, emotional. Everything's tied into it. The older you get, love looks different. Um, it's not the same. It's it, it's important, but it doesn't rank as high. See, you know, when you're younger, love is number one. The older you get, I'm talking about in a relationship. It doesn't hold that. It might be number one, but it'll be something else there as well. But it doesn't hold that ranking like it used to. So with that being said, the lack of love or that could be that could be a reason. It's not the only reason. It could be you're not. Definitely the honeymoon phase is over. Man, this is tough topic. When you put love in it, it makes it complicated or lack of. So no, I'm gonna let you expand. No, I got to think a little bit more on that. The love side of it.
I mean, from what I gathered just from thinking about it, it's more like a routine. If you do a routine that you're not enjoying
Mhm.
or not loving, like why would you want to stay there? Just like any other aspect. If you're working a job you don't enjoy, why would you want to stay there? If you're if you're if you're doing something that hurts you, why would you keep doing it? So,
Yeah, well, I get what you're saying, but the thing is, you're still going to do the activity someplace else. So I guess the process is still enjoyable. It's just who you doing it with, or is that enough?
or maybe they just a different spice of life. Maybe you just get tired of you're not spicing it up. I don't know. I don't know what particularly goes on in those relationships, but that could be something that contributes to it. You just do everything vanilla, like
But
everything is. Just,
how does love tie into that?
how does love? I mean,
You can love
presenting
someone and
presenting
not feel that
pre, pre,
have that kind of spice or whatever you're talking about.
I mean, hold on. So you said you could love somebody and not have that, but if you love someone, you should be willing to do other stuff that may not be comfortable, like for you per se, but maybe for your partner. You know what I mean? Like
Okay,
do different activities, things like that. You're just like, well, I don't want to do it, and then that may feel make your partner feel some sort of way, like sliding. You don't want to go rock climbing or something like that, so you don't want to do
so
any.
that prompts you
It may.
to go outside.
It may. It just very
Uh,
well. It just very well may. You may want to go find somebody
okay,
that's more compatible with your speed, with what you want to do. You want to sit at home on the couch all day. You can sit home on the couch with the other person all day. You don't decide. I mean,
and you made a very important point. You know, like when you are hunting, well, you're out on the market. Um, you you going to put on the gear or have the uniform to catch the prey or the bait to catch the fish. Once you caught the fish or capture the prey, then you take that uniform off and you just get complacent. And when you do that, uh, you might just force that other person outside of the relationship. And they still can love you, but are you showing them the love that you had initially to get them? Is that something that is required that you have to maintain? That's a question each person has to answer for themselves. Is that something they have to maintain? You meet this, you know, and I'm talking from a man perspective. Beautiful woman, everything is in place, and then you get you know you get her, or she gets you, and then she doesn't take care of herself the same way. And then now you looking at her, you coming home, you leaving the gym, and like you said, she's on the couch, that that changes everything. But you still could care about the person, but that could put a person to feel that, and it's all about appreciation. That can make that person say, well, she doesn't appreciate me to better herself or keep herself up. Somebody else out there, um, which is always somebody else out there that will appreciate that person.
right,
And that goes vice versa, male or female.
right, and I would say another point,
Mhm.
and this goes back. I don't know if you remember seeing this on the Kevin Hart special when he was talking about driving in the van. and he was like, don't talk to the dude that's driving in the van, especially when he's like closing the door because he's cursing out his significant other the entire time he's closing the door with the kids and everything.
No, no,
Basically, you haven't seen. What are you doing? Like you just. But basically,
meditation, meditation.
basically just being emasculated, like stuff like that, just not making the a man feel like a man that could fall. I guess that would that play. I feel like that would play into them falling out of
Absolutely.
falling out of love and wanting to go somewhere else. So you're forcing him to. Yeah, if you have kids, you take care of this. You're supposed to do that verbatim.
Right.
But like if you take the car, like let's say if you have one car, a nice car, and you're always taking the
Mhm.
car, but you leave him with the van, he's got to sit there, drive around the van with the kids. He's gonna feel some kind of way doing that all the time. Like,
Well, to expand on what you say, you absolutely correct. That emasculating side of it, um, and that's not even only visual outside the home. That could be inside the home. You know, and it's like you said, that respect, and the rule. Once you got a minivan, then everything's over. It's over. Once you're driving a minivan, then you're off the market automatically. But that's just a joke. But still, it's that demasculating side of it. And this is the men's perspective. I'm pretty sure it works the same way on the woman's side. But absolutely, look, if you're gonna make me feel like a jerk, I'm gonna get somebody to make me feel like a king.
mhm.
That's as simple as that. Um, I can still love you, and it's cheaper to keep them, but I can get it out here, and somebody who really respects me and appreciates me.
Right.
Um, so definitely, the demasculating side of it plays a major role. It's probably 90% of it, I would think. Other than the total disregard for the whole, you know, like Tina Turner, what love got to do with it? I mean, it's all about why were you together in the first place?
Right.
You know, was it love? Was it something else? So,
I mean,
um,
mm, and I guess us as males, especially from the black community. I mean,
mhm,
everyone's different, so this can't even be a generalization. But
right,
everybody loves differently. But
mhm,
like for I guess for me personally, it would just be the little things. I'm more of a little things kind of person. Like not a grand gesture. Like I'm not gonna be out there like putting everything on display in the open.
right,
Like that's not
right,
that's not no
right,
that's not me. Like I'll do the what was it? I'll do the stuff where it's just like the pedals. You come inside the house, you see
mhm,
the pedals and all that stuff. Yeah, I'll be the one that does something like that. But I'm not gonna sit
right.
out there and because it me personally just makes me uncomfortable. I don't. I'd rather people watch and talk to my significant other. People watch and talk trash and make up like storylines and stuff like that outside. But as far
This
as
is with you and your significant other.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
this okay,
like that.
okay.
Where you like you sit there like, oh yeah, I just came home from like you're sitting there with your significant other eating dinner or whatever. You see another couple, you make up like a storyline for what they're doing or whatever. Just stuff like that. People watching. Um, but yeah, like I said, just for me personally, it would be like the little things. Um, as far as how I would show my love to somebody.
Mhm.
Um, but overall, yeah, that's just the way I'm wired. I've never been a hey, look at me kind of person. Look at what I'm showing my significant
Oh
other
yeah,
kind of
right,
person.
right. Yeah, I can understand that. Oh, it's people show love differently, and in our community, um, I I'm not I'm not saying this across the board. It's just we we a lot of times we grow up with just the woman in the household, the father's not there. So our love as a black man, probably as the youth being raised mainly, and it's not for all by a woman. It's
Sure.
more it's more of a it's more sensitive. It's more um I don't want to say this in a negative. It's more feminine. It appeals to the feminine side of women because that's what they were pretty much brought up to be. Um, Now the old school love is a little different. It's a little it could be to some, especially if if to the younger generation it could be cold, it could be tough, but it's solid. Yeah, it's always proven in a sense of when it needs to be when the person needs to stand up, that love will show. Um, Things will get done. Uh, you don't have to get somebody else to do something. That person will be there to do it, get the job done. I'm just a prime example. You go to a gas station and I get out the car, pump my gas. I see young ladies pull up to a gas station with their significant other in the car. She gets out the car and pumps the gas. He sits in the car. That's not old school.
Right.
That's not old school. So it's different. Um,
I mean, unless
so
you're in Jersey,
why is it different in Jersey?
because nobody gets out the car and come out and pump it for you. So,
Oh, okay, okay,
I mean, there's
okay.
some
So,
places like that where nobody gets out of the car, but I understand I completely understand what you're saying.
you know, so it's different. The chivalry is gone,
Mm,
and stuff. So I like I said, the older school that love looks different than the younger school, but it's still love. I mean, and each generation accepts what they get.
right. And as far as the chivalry thing, I think that kind of I think that went into that cycle. Remember when we talked about that cycle where you have the nice guy that will hold open the door and stuff like that, but he doesn't get a pre. Then he's just like, well, flip it, well, just F it then. You know what I mean? And so then
Right,
leaves the women.
right.
Where are the guys that open the door for me? And like, there's been several instances where I'll open the door for somebody, and they don't even say anything to me, and I'm just like,
Oh yeah,
oh,
absolutely.
okay.
You, you, you know what I say? You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't even say
I,
that. I don't have the time.
no, I say it.
I don't have the
I
time.
say
I
it.
don't have the time or the patience to be dealing with that. I'm just like, whatever. Um,
But yeah, yeah, and see, and that's another thing too. They don't know how to accept love. They don't know how to take it. They don't know how to take that kind of love. They don't know how to take that kind of respect. If they don't even know how to take respect, how they gonna be able to take love, handle
mm,
love?
well, I mean, it just goes down to them being selfish. So,
Yeah, you, a friend of mine, and I'm just is dealing with this topic, and I'm thinking we can use that premise for the rest of this conversation about infidelity. He said a lot of people think they're in a relationship. It is it's only infidelity if you're in a relationship, right? Or you're married. So you know, we're talking about infidelity. A, a lot of people don't fit under that marriage. Infidelity, we're looking at boyfriend, girlfriend.
right.
So with that being said, a lot of times the opposite person, female or male, think they're in something that hadn't really been established. So how is it infidelity then?
Mm. So how is the infidelity if they're not in? I mean, then it wouldn't be. If if that's the
Right,
case. I guess a lot
right.
of
But
people
some
have put
people claim that, though. A lot of people claim that when they're not in a relationship, but they say they are. They think they are.
but they never did they not have the conversation about being being on
Well,
the
sometimes people think, you know, if you just been together one time, you're in a relationship.
that must be that must be your generation because I have never heard of anything like that. I have never heard
I,
of anything like that where it's just oh yeah we hooked up and now we're now we're in a relationship. Like
I'm just
I've
saying.
seen people be couples, but they've established themselves as couples after hooking up for that one night or whatnot. Like they talk about it or whatever, but I've never heard of anybody hooking up and then just like, oh, we're a couple now. They wake up the next day, we're a couple now. I've
Well,
just
I mean, I'm not saying just like one time or something, but I'm saying like they have good times to get together here and there. They talk on the phone, and there's communication there,
mm,
but it has there really and what I hate to say it like this, you put expectations on something that has not been proven or validated. When that person puts a ring on your finger, that's validation. Until then, you have to look at it as invalid.
well, I wouldn't even go as far as to put the ring on it. When you guys have that sit down conversation about, I would say once you have that conversation about, hey, we're only seeing each other, not seeing other people, then that kind of validates that relationship at that point, and then that's when that you fall into that if you're being you're gonna be in infidelity that's where that comes from because you have to start
So
somewhere. You
after
can't
that, yeah, right. You have to start somewhere. So after that conversation, that's where infidelity begins.
right
If
because
if you step outside, but before that, it's not.
you're not established as anything.
That's right. So with that being said, just that conversation, how much does that weigh? What I'm saying is, if if you're going to make that kind of commitment, it has to be some caveats to that to say, well, where are we going? Is this just going to be a lifetime boyfriend girlfriend commitment, or is this going to be marriage?
Mm-hmm.
So if someone makes that type of commitment, just know that that should be the following progression, not just to stay at that level and not make that type of to make that type of commitment and not go to the next level. It doesn't make sense to me
Mm-hmm.
because you're placing on yourself the title of you can't go outside that relationship. If you go outside that relationship, you're doing a disservice to the other person. Now, if you feel that you can't make that type of commitment and go all the way to the end, you you wasting her time and your time, and especially if you know you're going to be outside of that relationship where infidelity comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that conversation is the start before you get to the. But just I'm just looking at the court of law stuff. When you put a ring on it, then that's where it's more of a legal binding expectation.
Right. No,
Until then, it's just a choice.
right. I get you, but nobody really gets to that that jumping point right off the bat. Like we
Well,
said
so,
earlier, they have to start somewhere. And that starting somewhere is having that conversation, whether what you guys what your plans are. You're gonna just see each other. You're gonna continue seeing other people, or you guys gonna say you guys are a couple, but see other people while you're a couple. That
Right.
it all starts there. Um,
Or
but
certain cultures, they pick their, they assign, who they're going to marry, you
right,
know. So it's only in our culture that is not like that.
yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Mhm.
It, But I mean, there's so many different things that can go into infidelity. I mean, the selfishness that plays a huge part. Lack of control
Absolutely.
that definitely
Yeah.
plays a huge part, especially if you have a condition to where you have to have it all the time. Where and so that
It's
can
an
be a
addiction. It's an addiction.
that's it's a thing. It is a
It's an
thing.
addiction.
It's a thing where somebody
Right.
what I forgot what the term is, but where it's just like you're thinking about it 24/7, and I forgot exactly what it's called, and I can't remember it for the life of me. But there was another movie that wasn't really based on it, but Will Ferrell played one of the skaters that was like, yeah, sex addiction. That's what it was. He had a sex
Mhm.
addiction, so where everything was just like sexual to him, and it's just like he couldn't, like he had to go and like stay away from certain things or stay away from people, or else he's trying to take them to bed or whatever, and that could play, not saying that's exactly how it works for people with a sex addiction, but that definitely could play a part into someone being, you I don't even know the singular word for infidel. I don't even know the singular word for it, but somebody
Well,
somebody being, I guess, unfaithful. They're just not. They're
but see, when you say unfaithful, then there's a sign of commitment, and just like
unfaithful.
if
I
you
just don't know the single term. That was probably the
right,
wrong
right,
choice of words. I just don't know the single term for infidelity. That seems like like
it's
a
a
a
yeah, I know
multiple.
what you're saying.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know the
yeah.
singular
That word
term.
infidelity,
It
it could
doesn't
be
it
you
doesn't
can use
seem
that
right
word.
when I'm talking about it. So,
Right.
but you understand what I'm saying? Like that just could play a part into somebody just wanting to continue getting things from other sources or whatever the case may be. So that's just how I look at it when I think of that word. There's just so many different things that can go about it, but overall, um, I you should have a conscience. Of course, there's some people that just don't care. You should have a conscience if you're going to be in that space, because especially if you, I mean, if it's a lack of love, then obviously you just don't care about it. You're just trying to see the world burn at that point, uh,
Mhm.
and just get yours, which falls into that selfishness category. So it kind of just all mixes together.
I think I'm not saying this being cold hearted. I mean, everybody wants to be happy, right? I
Yeah.
mean, so if it's just it's just that happiness forget everybody else. I don't care if they're not happy. That's the selfish side of it. But it's you when you said the sex addiction, and they can have that with their partner. But if they don't feel like that, if they can't keep up, I mean, do you introduce something else into the fold, or
I mean, that would
how would
be
you look
that
at that?
would that would be a strong conversation to have. I couldn't even, to be honest with you, I couldn't even fathom like having a conversation like that. Like if I was in a relationship with somebody that had a sex addiction,
Mhm.
that I don't even know where. First of all, I don't even know where that would start. That conversation about, or because they would obviously tell you that, well, they should tell
Yeah,
you that they
absolutely.
have a
They
sex
should tell
addiction.
you. Well,
They
you
should
would
tell
hope
you.
so. Right, right,
So
right.
just, I don't even, like, I have no words for that. I don't even know how I respond. necessarily to that, let alone trying to appease them if we were in a relationship. That I couldn't, I can't even answer that one. That's what I'd have to get back to you on that. Like I would have to, I'd have to crunch the numbers on my end because that
That's
one.
deep. That's deep. Because it goes back. You talk about demasculating. If the woman told the man that I need I need somebody else as well,
Uh-huh.
how would he take it? Just as same thing if the man presents himself and tells her that.
Right.
So
See,
that's a conversation.
I didn't
That's a
even look,
serious conversation.
I didn't
Yeah,
even, I didn't even look at it as it demasculating. I was
yeah.
just like, all right,
I
well,
think
maybe
it's a
this
serious
is,
conversation.
yeah, I just was like, okay, maybe this is something that, one of her fantasies or something like that. Maybe this is something like you're spicing up the relationship or something. I don't know. That's how I thought about it. And then when you said that, I was like, oh, well, that is another thing too. So it's just, well,
Yeah. It goes both ways, and it's a tough. I, it's obvious people had that conversation because it
yes.
goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but hey, I mean, it'd be nice. We probably need to revisit this and bring people who probably have that type of
Like swingers or something like
relationship.
that.
Yeah. Relate that type of relationship or understanding. Um, it could be just a couple, and how they work that out. I'm curious, but um, and let's say the let's say that person comes to you and brings this up, and you disagree. You don't agree with it.
Mm.
How does that affect the relationship?
So you're talking about
Yeah,
basically giving them like a hall pass or something like that?
yeah. Is it you just say okay?
I mean, honestly, if after all that time, it would.
You're not gonna
There's
give
some.
a pass. You're not gonna.
You're right. I'm not. You
I can
absolutely
hear.
no.
I
You're
can
right.
see it in you.
But what I'm saying is,
Right.
I was thinking about it from like the beginning part. Like if I'm not told this at the beginning,
Hmm.
like going into the like a relationship, like this is just sprung on me. No, absolutely not. Now, if this is something told at the beginning, I probably still wouldn't. More than likely, probably still wouldn't. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. It would just have to be an extreme circumstance because I couldn't. I don't know. Me personally, I couldn't picture. I wouldn't want to see that. I wouldn't want to see that. I wouldn't want to picture it. It's just
So I mean,
man or woman. It's just this. I just couldn't. I couldn't picture it.
okay. Let's say you were dating someone,
Mm-hmm.
just dating. That conversation of we're exclusive has not happened yet,
Mm-hmm.
and you said, well, hey, well, let's say we're comfortable with each other and whatever, and I just happen to be riding by, and you know this, this, I, however it happens, you happen to run into that person. You hadn't had that conversation, and you might find her in a compromising position
Mm-hmm.
or situation. Would you give her a pass, or is it over?
Well, I mean, if we're not exclusive or anything like that, and she's with another person, then dude, that's an easy. I'm like, you do, you do you. We weren't together to begin with, so why would I feel some sort of way about the situation?
Some people
It's just
do.
I know, but you specifically said there was no conversation about being exclusive. Like, and she's with,
Right.
and if I
But
see,
right. But it was nothing saying that you're not either. You
mm,
just kind of like, hanging out,
then
enjoying each other.
yeah, that's the situation where it's just like you see people, I see people, and until you have that conversation, then it is what it is. So you
But a lot of people fall on look at that as infidelity, and that is, and I agree with you. That is not infidelity because
right.
nothing has been established.
Right, and that's what we
Only
talked about
when that
earlier.
conversation. That's right.
Once you have that conversation about being exclusive, whatever the case may be, then that's where that starts at. But before then, there shouldn't be an issue for what happens
But I'm gonna
before
ask
then.
you something honestly though. I'm gonna ask you
Mhm.
something. You like this girl. You just hadn't had the conversation yet, but
Okay.
you caught her in a compromising position. Are you going to give her a pass because you like her so much? And then you said, "Well, we can work through this. We didn't have that conversation, so I forgive
And
her,
there isn't
even though I
gonna
see it."
there isn't gonna be we're gonna work through this. Like I said, this is gonna be okay. You're with that person. I'm gonna go. You gotta at this point. This is where you have
Are
the
you
role.
going to give her a pass? Are you going to give
There's
her
no
a pass?
pass. There's no pass to give because we're not together.
But are you going to be with her? Would you be with her?
Probably
What
not.
I'm saying is, would you, why? Why?
This is where you have the Rolodex, or the black book. This is what I'm talking. This is where you have the black book, and I'm sure the ladies have a black book of their own when they're
That's right.
dating and they're
That's
not
right.
seeing each other. You both have your black book, so there's no issue there. So you go call your other female friend or whoever you want to hang out with that day if she's hanging out with somebody else. No harm, no foul. You guys didn't establish anything as far as you guys being a couple or being monogamous. Then it is what it is.
Okay. But let me ask you a question. How long? How long does it take before? I'm just saying, time wise, would you invest in someone you like to get to this person that you're going to be monogamous with?
You said how long?
I mean, what I'm saying is to say, make that commitment, say we're going to be exclusive when you're in this dating phase. How long does that take? How is that a
I
week?
mean,
But I'm just saying,
no.
basically, you
I
will.
understand. I understand what you're saying, but it definitely differs. But for me, it'd probably be like if we're seeing each other consistently.
Mhm.
Like I'm saying, maybe like every weekend or something like that. Like
Yeah,
something.
that's the relationship I'm talking about.
Yeah, if we're
But you
seeing
didn't have
it,
that conversation yet.
but
So
you're asking me for the timeline though. You're asking me for the
right,
timeline. I'm
right.
like, if we're seeing each other basically every weekend, then it'd probably be like a month and a half to 2 months when that would start to be like, okay, well, what's the situation? What are we doing here? Like, is this just gonna keep doing this, or are we gonna be like, you know, that's where I would see it. But if you're not seeing each other like that often, like it,
No, no, I'm talking about that relationship. You seeing that person that often,
uh-huh.
and then you walk in on something because obviously you're investing. You like this person.
Mhm.
You are, even though you hadn't had that conversation, you really like this person, and then to catch them in a position, compromised position, are you willing to give them a pass and say, "Well, we're gonna work through this because we didn't have that conversation." You're not obligated to that commitment.
At this point, I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, Jay. At this
Yeah,
point, it's not gonna be up to me. It's gonna be up to her. Because I'm not gonna be out there and be like, oh, you want to work through? No, I'm gonna have my Rolodex. I'm gonna have my Rolodex, and I'm gonna do my thing. If she wants to talk about it, we can
right,
talk about it. But I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, come on, baby, let's work this out. No, because you wanted to do that. We didn't have a
right,
conversation. That is perfectly fine. You know,
right,
we're not together. You don't claim me. I don't claim you.
right, right. You're invested. You invested time. You invested resources in this person. So it's going to be some level of of accountability that you are expecting from that other
Once again,
person.
Jay, I'm gonna bring out my Rolodex, and it's gonna be up to her what she wants to do. Like
Yeah,
if we want to have that conversation at some
right,
point, we'll have a conversation
right.
at some point. But
Okay.
if she wants to keep seeing, you know, James from down the block, That then
Right,
she can see
right.
James from down the block. I'm gonna do my thing, and because there's 7 days in a week, Jay. There's 7 days in a
That's right.
week.
That's right.
Remember,
That's right.
let's
That's
remember
right.
that.
That's
Just
right. So, okay, okay. Um, I, I I know it's a tough one because I know people when feelings are involved, it's and everybody doesn't feel the same way at the same time.
mm,
Um, somebody could be really into you, and you're like, "Hey, I'm just I'm just here having a good time." Um, you out, you out and about. This person expectations of you were different than what you even talked about or even thought about. So that's where I think infidelity is always placed on things that are really not infidelity.
mm.
Um, it's a you in your terminology. I mean, I guess kicking it with her,
That's a you
and
that that is a y'all thing. Nobody says no, no, no.
okay.
That
So
is a
what
y'all
terminology do y'all use?
that is a y'all thing that is getting phased out.
Uh, what, what terminology do you use? Dating? It just said dating,
Chill,
right? I guess
chill,
chill. Okay, okay,
chill.
okay. The person you're chilling with. Um,
Kicking it,
she,
kicking it. Come on now.
hey, you get my point.
I understand your
Um,
point, but you try to say, "Oh, we said kicking it."
but the thing is, with that being said, she, everybody's expectations are different. So
Right.
she come off on you like you some bad guy, you a cheater, when you never even were accountable to her,
Mm,
or vice versa. She's not accountable to you. This guy's running around here doing crazy stuff, stalking and all this stuff with a woman that never made that. They never made that commitment. So it's infidelity can be used when it's really not the case,
right.
and a lot of times men are put in this position of, oh, they're no good, they're a bunch of cheaters and all this stuff, when it was never a relationship like that or commitment like that in the first place.
Right. And I feel like you go through that experience as far as the whole we're in a relationship thing when you're younger. And I think you grow out of it as you the whole being in a relationship. Like the love thing, that's something totally different. But the whole
Right.
relationship, you do you, I do me, that I think that goes I feel like from the conversations I've had with people that are a little bit younger than me by a couple years,
Mhm.
it seems once they hit like 25 to 27,
Right.
that's when that that light, I guess, the not really a light switch, but that's when that phase change happens from when they go about, oh, I really like this girl, if she does something I'm still gonna try to pursue her, whatever the case may be, to it's just like, hey, you do you, I'm gonna do me, and if you trying to do something, then we could talk about it or whatever. I think that's when that phase starts to happen. But before then, I think you have more, like you were saying, you more like in that love phase. You have all that stuff
That's right.
as you go through high school until you finish college and a little bit outside of college. But then that reality starts hitting, starts
Yeah.
punching you in the face a little bit. So then that's when you're just like, okay, well, whatever. At that point, at least that's just
Oh yeah. No, no, I agree. I agree. I can
what I
see
feel. So
that. But and what it boils down to, and this goes for everybody. I mean, but it's not necessarily saying that everybody does this, but you want what you want. You want your cake and eat it too.
right, but you can't.
Basically, but you can't.
But you can't. Never. You think you can, but you can't.
You can't. And it's understandable. I mean, I want what I want,
mhm,
and sometimes I want things that that don't belong to me, you know, or I shouldn't have. But that doesn't mean I still don't want it. Um, and I have to have the self esteem, you know, and self control, which we were talking earlier, self control, to say no. I'm not going to do that. Even though I might even have the opportunity, but I'm not. You know, not saying it didn't run across my mind. I mean, because it run across everyone's mind things, but that don't mean it's just the act that
Mm.
I think people should be accountable for. And you know, a lot of times we get beat up because we hold a conversation with someone, our significant other, being honest, being open, and this told them what we thought, and then we held like we did something wrong. We didn't act on it, you know. So, um, but that other person knows that they want their cake and eat it too as well. They just didn't tell you about it.
Well, let me ask you this, old man. What do you what do you well, what do you think about those like open relationships? Because I know that's probably that wasn't a thing back in your day in the 1890s where people were just they were passed on to you and that was it. You know,
Back
you
in the Roman
that
days,
back
that was
you
there in the
were
Romans. You know,
they were
Caesar, Caesar.
they were passed on to, you know, you both were matched up and that was it. You know, you didn't have an option to go outside of the marriage or
Right.
have another
That's right.
relationship.
That's right.
So I want to
That's
know
right.
what your uh your thoughts on that is, you know.
Well, well,
'Cause
that's
I'm sure
one
it's
of
probably
those.
shocking.
Want your cake and eat it too.
Mhm.
That's one of those things. And you know, once you get older, hey, we can't handle several slices. We just need one one good slice, and that's all we need. So, but the youth now, they hey, they open with it. They like, hey, I want an open relationship. If she's down, I'm down. You know, but the thing is, can they handle it if it's the other way around? I don't know. I mean, you know, I guess it goes both ways. And swinging and I, I, I can't fathom doing that personally. Um, but you know, there's a lot of things I couldn't fathom doing that I've learned to do, but I wouldn't want to learn to do that because it's just not that important. See, what when you get a certain age, certain things, um, the importance of it varies. It changes, and I guess you know if you're young like yourself and younger, that's appealing. That aspect of it. Uh, for my generation and myself, it's just not that appealing um, to have that type of relationship.
So, two things.
Mhm.
First thing, one is more than enough. I couldn't imagine.
That's right.
I couldn't imagine having two in my ear. No, no, it's already enough stress with just one. You want two?
Two. Two. Wow. Hey, some people can do it, but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Second thing, no, no, no. Second thing, that whole having your cake and eating it too, it's basically like, and I know you haven't seen it because you're not really internet savvy or, you know, all that other
Right,
stuff.
right,
But basically,
right.
there's an image that has been around for a couple of years now where a person's riding a bicycle, right?
Hmm.
And they take the stick. There's a stick that they find. They take it and throw it in the bicycle to sabotage themselves. And then they look around trying to complain to somebody. So basically, what I'm saying is, listen where I'm going, is
All right,
when you trying to have your cake, you're on the bike, you're having your cake, and then you're
right.
trying to eat it, but there's something wrong with the cake you're trying to eat, and then you want to look around and complain. It's like, no, you did it to yourself, homie. What you got to complain about if something goes wrong? You just self sabotaged yourself.
That's right. Because I've seen relationships, open relationships like that, and they the guy thinking he was going to be fat and happy, and next thing you know, he's the odd man out. She's gone
Yeah.
with her,
Hmm.
and like you said,
You did it to
you asked
yourself.
for it.
You
You
said that
did it to
you
yourself.
threw the stick in your wheel and it flipped yourself off the bike. You now you looking around like, why did you do that?
Why me? Why me? Why me? But yeah. And that's the risk when you. It's enough, like you said, it's enough when it's just two people trying to build something or communicate and grow emotionally together and strength. But man, you start adding all these other variables in there. Man, look, you end up on the news. You end up on the news. It's just crazy. It's just you just it's asking for it's throwing that stick in the wheel because you don't know how it's going to turn out. You can flip, land on your head, or you can just lay down on the side on a nice soft cushion. But you don't know. But you know one thing: that stick is going in the wheel, and it's going to change. You're not going to be moving forward. It's going to stop, but you just don't know how you're going to land.
Right. I just and
And I no,
as far to answer this other question, it's just mind blowing. I mean, kudos to the people that can do it, that have
oh yes,
the mental fortitude to do it. I commend you. It's just it's new. New.
I salute you. I salute, but no,
Hey,
no, and it, like you said, it's a lot just with one.
right.
And I'm not saying it in a bad way, but it's hard to make somebody else happy because and try to be there for someone that is just you're just asking for trouble. To me, it'd be trouble for me. Let me put it like that. It might not be trouble for everyone, but it'd be a trouble for me.
Hey, I don't even think they should. Like I said, if you want to do it, do it. I've always been the person of don't come complaining to me when you did it
When
to
it
you
doesn't,
and when you did it to yourself. I'm not listening. Like if you're my friend, of course I'm gonna be there as your friend. But
that's right.
at the back of my head and be like, you did this. You know you did this to yourself, right? Like,
Mhm. That's right. Well, it was so good. We were all friends. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how it always starts. It always
mm-hmm.
starts out good, but no, no. And then and a lot of times this is just in a regular relationship. They When you bring it into a marriage, man, I don't know. It's and it could be the opposite way where you doing this swinging thing, and next thing you know, you the odd man out again. Somebody else.
Yep.
It, nah, nah. It could happen even if you're not in that situation. Open marriage or swinging or anything like that. But man, the chances are more likely it's going to happen when you open yourselves up to
Right.
that, when you invite things into your home or into your relationship. It's more likely to happen than not.
And I think Dave Chappelle put a nice comedic spin on it from his show where he did the husband swap or what, I don't know if you remember that
Oh yeah,
episode where they
yeah,
swapped
I remember
husbands,
that.
where
Yeah,
the white dude went with the black family and the black dude with the one. Yeah, I think
yeah,
he made
yeah.
a really good a really good I guess analogy would be the good thing. Like if you were in something like that, like a swinger relationship, it's like what could happen. It's like
What can happen? You know, it's no, no. I suggest for me personally, I wouldn't do it.
yeah,
And
too much heartache and headache.
that's right.
You
That's
don't
right.
need you don't need to burn that meter on both ends to shave off more life, shave off more time off your life than you already are doing.
And the stress, man, I couldn't imagine. Um, it- but the thing with you know, if and I just want to say infidelity, you definitely have to establish what the relationship is.
Yep.
If you're just what do you call it? The youth call it not
What?
kicking. What do you call it?
Talking? You're just talking?
Talking. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
talking
Okay. You
before
just
it.
talking.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you're just talking, it should be infidelity doesn't lie in that type of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them what I mean. You stated it, and you stated it very well. When does infidelity? And I agree with you. Come into play is when you sit down, had that talk, say we're going to be in a committed monogamous relationship,
Right.
and you both agree. Not just because you talk about it, but you
Right.
both agree. You
Right.
both agree to it. Now, I went a little further, put a ring on it, but you
Yeah, you went to the extremes
added
because
a
that's
little
that's
bit.
that's what the old school does. Just like, oh, putting a ring on it right now. We've been seeing each other for 2 weeks. I'm gonna put a ring on it right now. It's like, wait,
That's
wait,
right.
wait,
Hey, when
wait,
you find the one,
wait,
when you find the
wait.
one,
You
find
haven't
the
even
one.
you haven't even gone on a date yet, and you put a ring on it.
When you find the one, you find the one. You don't need months.
You
You
find the
got the
one,
one.
and then you throw some water on it. It ends up being a gremlin.
That's right. Well, it happens. It happens. But no, no. But that's an interesting topic. Uh,
Hmm. Eh.
did I teach you anything today?
No, no, you really didn't. If anything, you
I,
kind of tried to say that we used the term kicking it. It's like, what?
I thought I heard that. I
Mm.
thought I heard some young kid say that. Okay. I guess it was an old '80s movie I was watching.
That might have it might have
Yeah,
been like Beverly Hills Cop or something like that.
break dancing or something like that. Break
Yeah,
dancing.
with the parachute pants. Yeah, I understand the parachute
Yeah,
pants in it.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
we
That's
just kicking it. It's like nobody says that now. Like, come on, what's wrong with you?
right. Okay. But no, no. This is an interesting topic. I suggest that anybody out there just know where you are in the relationship before you expect that person to be that committed to you, or you know, until then, it's not an open relationship. It's just he or she's not accountable to you.
Right.
Mhm.
That's that's and that's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so you got to be of the mindset to understand that, and
Mhm.
unless you're trying to actually be in a monogamous relationship with that person. So
Mhm.
at the end of
Now,
the
how would
day,
you sum up? How would you sum up the open relationship?
how would I sum? What about it?
Yeah, well, I mean, don't do it. I mean,
It's like what me personally don't do it. It's like I know
that's
better.
right.
I know better than to look at a hot stove and put my hand on it. It's like, what's wrong with you?
That's right. That's right. That's right. So
No.
no, no, no. I think it was good to talk about this because a lot of times use that term when it's not needed, when it's not warranted. So I hope I got a better understanding of it, and I hope you did as well.
Yeah,
Since
I think my understanding probably made more sense
oh boy,
than
here we go,
to a
here
lot of
we
the
go.
people that will be watching this video instead of somebody putting a ring on it after 1 week, but
Oh man,
that's
but
neither here nor there.
hey, we love hard, hard and fast. That's
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
no, but no.
Mhm.
It's been an interesting conversation, and I enjoyed it. See
As
you next
always.
Sunday,
Yes,
same
sir.
bat time, same bat channel.
Oh
Tack
Lord.
channel, tack channel.
Oh
That's right.
my
Same
god.
tack time, same tack channel.
Okay, dude. And we're out of here. Later.
Peace.